I'm standing on the side of Frontier Communications Building in Hartford, Connecticut. I would recommend you watch the video entitled Homeless Vet Killing Society Part 1 and Part 2, because this video basically picks up where that one left off. So I'm admiring this concrete block of a building and taking some video of it when all these people start pouring out of the apartment building next door. So I get a couple on video, a young black woman and white man approximately 25 to 30 years old, who pull an SUV in the front and start loading golf clubs into it. There was another man I did not get on video, but all three individuals were staring over at me and gesturing to each other until I turned and started to walk toward them with a video camera, and then they started marching around their car doing their thing. I'd like you to note the golf clubs because they carry some significance later on in the investigation. So I continue walking around this parking lot for this apartment building, which is next door to the Frontier Corporation. And I noticed that even though there's not much more than 50 cars in the parking lot, a great deal have out-of-state license plates. Pennsylvania, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Indiana, Maryland, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, another one from Florida. So the apartment building has this huge banner that says now leasing apartments in Hartford, and the apartment building is in the old Southern New England Telephone Company building, and the address is 55 Trumbull Street in Hartford, Connecticut. And I'd bet that being right next door to this Frontier building, that this apartment house is also a programming facility where they have agents come in from all over the country, military people from all over the country, and they hit everyone in the building with the electromagnetic energy oscillators, and they could see who they could use in the program. They definitely have a large network of agents who live in this building, and they probably constantly introduce new people into the building who have been picked for one reason or another. So at that point, my investigation stopped in Hartford, Connecticut, and picked up in Watertown, Connecticut, which is a small town next to Waterbury. So I'm driving along Route 63 through Watertown, and I noticed another Frontier building. So I decided to drive around Watertown and pass out some of my flyers and see what else was around. And I found this street called Northfield Road, which is a back, heavily wooded country road. I looked on MapQuest, and you'll see on one side of Northfield Road is the Crestbrook Park Golf Course, and on the other side shows nothing but woods, because when you zoom in on it, it just shows a pond and a large blank space. Yet when you walk on Northfield Road, you will find this huge dome of a building, and this dome is directly between the golf course and an entrance to a nature preserve. So I walked down Northfield Road and I tried to get some side shots of the building. It's a huge structure constructed with concrete blocks with metal grates over each window, and the roof is shaped like a dome. and in the back of the dome is the golf course. I found this large helium balloon to the right of the structure in the woods along a stone wall. So when passing out flyers on Northfield Road, I stopped at the house next door to the dome, knocked on the door, but nobody answered, and I saw that the dome had its own address. In other words, it wasn't the same address as the house that was right next door to it, and there's no other houses in the area. The dome's number is number 676 Northfield Road. So walking back down the driveway to the house next door, I saw this portable floodlight that is powered by a propane tank. And directly across the street from this house and concrete block dome is an entrance to the Watertown Land Trust's Fletcher Preserve. Now I noticed that this sign looks brand new. It appears as if it's been installed in the ground no more than a week ago. It smells like brand new paint, and there isn't even any weeds or grass around the fence posts. Over here is the older sign that sits perpendicular and kind of hidden from the road. But even with the new signs, the entrance to this preserve was hard to see when I was driving by. I didn't even notice the preserve until I saw this parking space on the side of Northfield Road, and I pulled over in it, and then I noticed this sign for the nature preserve. So walking about 150 to 250 feet straight back from the road, I noticed this structure in the woods. It looks like some type of pump house, but it stunk like urine. It is dug into the ground on three sides, with one side having a door that's been nailed shut with planks. There's a rusted metal pole that sits on the side of it, which is a hazard if someone like a kid decides that he or she could use it to lower themselves into the pump house, and then, like a trap, they might find it's not as easy to climb out. So the pump house has these little square windows on either side, which had a screen that had been ripped out, and I also noticed what looked like claw marks around the window frame. And it looks like someone has tried to claw their way out. So there's also some claw marks along the planks around the window, and along this beam in the roof I see some scratches and some wear marks, and I wonder if that rusted metal pole had been placed there by someone who tried to climb up and out. New nails along with the older nails. I also noticed in the front, it appeared as someone tried to break into the pump house by ripping through the planks nailed across the entryway. Maybe someone's friend or little brother, for example, who was trying to help a sibling out after they crawled in and got caught, was trying to help free them by banging on the planks there. And I also noticed there are newer nails along with the older rusted nails nailed into the planks. So this structure is obviously dangerous and a hazard to children or anyone who may be walking in the area and fall through the roof while hiking at the Watertown Land Trust. And I'd imagine if a legitimate forester or city worker who was in charge of recently placing 2 Flesher Preserve signposts on either side of the property would have noticed this unsafe structure and would have either repaired it or notified the town that a couple of boards needed to be hammered in place in this missing roof section.